Life is about creation and innovation to inspire oneself to greatness, to be an uncommon person in a world that's overcrowded with commonality. To figure out where you, as a person, belong in this world is one of the most underrated and hardly done complexities of time. It's a more common practice to be someone else in order to fit in, instead of being a true original and fulfilling your purpose during this short-lived journey. What does it really mean to find yourself? What does it mean to become who you should be despite who you are today? What does it really take to be successful? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I know I have a solution that will forever transform your life if you're willing to leave who you are behind and walk in to who you're destined to be. You already know your purpose in life because everything you need is within you, but you have not recognized the greatness and potential within you. In the words of Paulo Coelho out of The Alchemist, tell your heart that the fear of suffering is worse than the suffering itself, and that no heart has ever suffered when it goes in search of its dreams, because every second of the search is a second's encounter with God and with eternity. So, what are you in search of today? Obviously, if you're looking at this video, you're not content with your station in life, because in your heart and in your soul, you truly believe that there has to be more. This is a question that I too struggled with for over 23 years of my life. To know that you're more, but don't know how to align the pieces in a way to bring you true fulfillment with who you are. To understand and to realize that you can be successfully wrong, because success doesn't necessarily bring fulfillment. Fulfillment comes from knowing yourself and knowing your why. Because when you know your why, you can discover the way. Let's take a step back and ask ourselves, if we had access to information that could change the course of our lives, would we receive it, or would we write it off as similar to the way life writes off the majority of people because they don't inspire to be great? The people who settle to template, to shell, and become copycats of others. Passion Purpose Mindset Academy was designed to give you interpersonal results off of sound doctrine of leadership and sound knowledge to inspire you to become who you should be despite who you are. Based off the Amazon best-selling book, Becoming Who You Should Be Despite Who You Are, the thinking forward approach to purpose and fulfillment. Now, what would you rather have, caviar or sardines? Now, before you answer that question, most likely you're a person of moderate to above average success, or you may have never succeeded at anything, and you're looking for that one thing that's going to revolutionize your business or increase your income. I have another question for you. Would you rather be a so-called entrepreneur with a dead-end business that doesn't produce any results or revenue, or would you rather be a true business owner that's impacting your clients' lives, creating results, and creating a positive cash flow that's going to allow you the time and freedom you deserve? Are you tired of investing your time and hard-earned money in products and services that overpromise and underdeliver? Well, guess what? So are your clients. It's not about transmitting information, but about transformational ideas that ultimately impact everyone you come in contact with, helping your business and your personal life become what it should be despite what it is today. So, what's the solution? Well, welcome to Passion Purpose Mindset Academy, where we offer solutions from a realistic, down-to-earth perspective. No fluffery, no gimmicks, no backflips. You'll learn about the vision of leadership, the best investment ever, the toll bridge of life emails, and the perpetual time syndrome. Those are only a few of the many modules discussed within the Academy. Once enrolled at the Passion Purpose Mindset Academy, you'll receive a digital copy of the best-selling book, Becoming Who You Should Be Despite Who You Are, a 27-page workbook, a private Facebook community and forum where you can contact and interact with others within the course and the creator himself. You'll also get 3 one-hour private one-on-one mastermind coaching sessions, a $5,000 value alone, with the best-selling author and leadership strategist Brandon L. Draper, better known as the Motivational King, plus other bonuses. So why not take what you already love to do, which is your passion, and align it with your purpose, and then polish it with mindset corrective training to complete that glowing finished product. Stop living with the pain and frustration of not aligning yourself with the information you need to position you for success. Act today before we increase the price of our enrollment an additional $1,500. And just remember, you're one decision and one action away from success. So what'll it be? Just click the enroll button now and forever change your life.
Yes. It's the one and only Brandon L. Draper, better known as the Motivational King. Don't believe me? Just keep on watching. Thank you for tuning in. I do not take it lightly. I appreciate all the support for tuning in on this busy, eventful Friday. I know there's a lot of people right now that's going through some issues with the storm that's evacuating. So our hearts, our prayers go out to you. But I want to make sure that if you're listening right now, hopefully you're in a nice, safe, comfortable place. But tonight we're going to have fun. We're going to dive deep into some stuff. We're going to dive deep into tonight's discussion. All right. A couple of things we want to go over, please. If you know someone, please share this with them so that they can tune in and potentially change their life forever by understanding the fundamentals of what we're going to talk about tonight. It's very imperative, especially if they're an entrepreneur. Don't be selfish with this information. Share, be uplifting to other people. And that's what this thing's about. Tonight, just tonight, we got something special. And I love sharing special stuff with special people. There's not by chance that you're here tonight. There's a reason that you're here. And I want to make sure that you get the best out of what we're going to talk about tonight's topic. And I talked a little bit about it earlier. I went Facebook Live, and I just dived just a little snippet of the time, strategy, focus, and associates. I just talked about it just ever so briefly. So we're going to really dive in and talk a lot more about that tonight. So everyone, I really believe that everyone wants to be great. I think there's no one that does not want to be great, that does not want to be successful. Sometimes we're a little bit hard-headed. We don't want to listen. We don't want to compromise. We get stuck on our ways. And then we figure, well, why am I not any further than I am? And some of the reasons that is because we're not willing to listen. So what's truly holding you back? Is it not having enough time? Or maybe you don't have the right strategy? Or perhaps the lack of focus because you are not excited about what you're currently doing. All right. Let's discuss how all these elements combined with who you associate with can determine your success or failure, right? Because it's like baking a cake, and I talked about it earlier. It's like baking a cake. Now, if you want more information, to maybe you want to see more concrete information, you want to be able to get some dialogue with me, you always can message me on Facebook. But if you really want to get in touch with me, the best way to get in touch with me is by email, and that's info at Thinking Forward Inc. That's Thinking Forward Incorporated, thinkingforwardinc.com. And also you can visit us online at www.thinkingforwardinc.com, right? And you can go in there, you can look at some of the stuff that we have, you can sign up, become a member, and get constant information about what we're doing, what I'm talking about, to help you make that shift in your life. Now, I want to get down to the nitty gritty because I know I said some things earlier, and I want to make sure people understand. Now, one thing I respect is people being their own self, authentic self. So meaning that being a business owner doesn't mean that you become a business owner simply on the premise of following in the line of other people. That's the complete opposite. That's not your intent. That's not what you want to do. You want to be unique, and everything is so positive when you're unique in what you do and you're happy about what you do, not copycatting other people. Because guess what? You can't be someone else. Everyone else is taken, so be yourself. So let's talk about it a little bit. So, as an entrepreneur or a person that wants to start a business, one of the first things people want to do. Let me take a sip of water real quick, guys. I'll be talking as fast as hurricanes coming. I think I got gusts of 200 or 300 words per minute. With with a constant flow of about at least 200. So I want to slow it down and make sure that you guys understand what I'm saying tonight. It's very imperative. So there's a lot of people out there that's in the space of personal development, and when you get into trying to help and uplift people, there's so much static out there. Everyone's broadcasting it, and they're broadcasting it for whatever reason, whatever motives they have. But my authentic self know that I want to help people because I know how hard I struggle. And every time I looked around, when I wanted some help, it was always, how much I had to come out of pocket and how, what was the next big thing. And, I had to go through this constant flow of, man, I need help. I'm really want it bad enough, but dang, I can't afford freaking $5,000. I can't afford $10,000. Well, I can't travel halfway across the country, or let alone halfway across the world to go to this remote seminar to get this information, right? But I want to be successful. And then I'm hearing people beat me up and say, well, if you really want it bad enough, you just go out and do it. Man, let me tell you, it's real good and it's real easy to say, just go out there and do it. It's just go out there and do it. And there's a lot of people in that space that are saying, batten down the hatches, go after for the next 3 years, have your life suck for the next 3 years. Don't date, don't have a life, don't travel, don't experience life, and hopefully, prayerfully, your business manifests. Now, for some people, that may work, right? You may lose a lot in that process. Now, I'm not saying that particular process is wrong, but I think the majority of people are not willing to do it because it just doesn't make sense. So, and that goes to another point of when you do something, know why you're doing it. So that why is very important, because your why is what's going to keep you in the game. Now, let's go past the cliche of that, and let's be honest with ourselves, right? Because everybody always say, I just had a conversation with someone earlier today. We were talking about passion, right? And everyone's like, throw that word around, passion. I'm passionate about it. I'm passionate. And you look at some people like, man, shut up. You don't even know what passion is. Like, are you willing to suffer? Or do you believe in something that much you're willing to suffer through it? You're willing to lose where you sleep. You're willing to miss out on food. You're willing to be humiliated. Are you willing to do those things? And if those things are not absolute in your mind, then stop playing yourself, right? So why is the passion so important? Because guess what? When things get difficult, and they will, right? If you got any sense, if you're a person that's sane, right, and things get very difficult, you're going to change very quickly. Now, what do I mean by that, right? Meaning this, very simple principle here. If I'm working a business and I'm really not passionate about it, but I want to make money, right? When I'm not making money, guess what? I'm going to quit real fast. I'm going to quit. Because if only a crazy person. So if you got sense and you're sane, you're going to quit. If you're in it for money, if you're in it for success or whatever it is, you're going to quit if you're a sane person, right? But because that's just natural order of things. When things get difficult, we have a tendency of switching, changing, trying something new. But when we're passionate about something, even when we're met with defeat, we're willing to push through. We're willing to push through the pain because that makes sense to us because we're convicted by what we believe. But if your motivation is money, your motivation is admiration, your motivation is attention, those things, when it does not work out the way in which you intended, you're going to quit because you are a sane person. And that's what sane people do. They quit and try something new and try to adapt to another concept. But when you're passionate, it's almost like you're borderline crazy, right? Because that passion is going to push you through, right? That's what happens in that. right? So let's go talk. The first thing we got to talk about is time. Everyone has a lot of important things. Um, some people have nice cars, big houses. Um, Before I even dive into that, let's go and clear something in the air. There's a lot of people, and that's kind of what I was driving earlier. There's a lot of people in this space is telling you about, have this and do this and make money, beach and banks and woo and all this craziness. But check this out: their success is not your success. Success is self-defined, because what you may consider successful in your life, meaning like you may only want X, Y, and Z, where Johnny or Susan over there, their success is A, B, and C and E, F, G, right? So everyone has their own measure of success. So who are we to say that because someone is happy with that they're happy with the life that they have, they're happy with the amount of money they have, they're happy with the lack of activity they have in their life, they're happy with that. Who are we to judge and say, you know what, they're not successful? Well, you can't measure their success off of your measurement of success. That's first and foremost. So stop looking at all these gurus and people that are out there that's telling you, well, you should do this, you should do that. Well, you're not them. And you don't know what all they had to go through to get to that level. And it's very easy to get lost when you're at one level and just want to do it this way, when you got to look at your surroundings and figure out, well, what's conducive for me? What's the best practices for me? Can I do what they did a lot quicker? Give an example, right? So we remember back in 90s and 2000, Lil Wayne. It took Lil Wayne a good period of time to be where he's at today. Now, there's artists that are coming in the space of hip hop, rap, or whatever you want to call it, that's coming in that space and getting to that level a lot quicker. So they're getting where he's at, i.e. Drake, right? Drake hasn't been in the game as long as Lil Wayne, but, pound for pound, we look at Forbes list. Don't believe me? Look it up right now. Pound for pound, their income is about the same. Why is that? Because he was able to leverage not off of guerrilla tactics that were good in the past, not listen to someone telling you how they struggle so much and that you got to do X, Y, Z. You look at your environment or where you're at now, and then you make some measurements and say, well, how can I do, or should I say, how can I get if I want to get this particular result, how can I get that result in a shorter period of time? See, money likes time. Fast time brings fast money. It's going to bring money, but if the longer it takes, it's much more sustainable. Now, I'm not saying fast money in the way of saying, you're going ahead and doing something legal. When I say fast money, meaning that it took someone 20 years to do it, and if you can do it in 5. Mark Zuckerberg, look at him, right, with Facebook. So you got a guy that's a multi-billionaire. I don't know how old Mark is, but I want to say he's probably in his 30s. Yeah, I'm a little heated about that. I'm heated because, like, wow. And everyone should be heated because if you're thinking about it, they statistically say that the average person has at least 5 to 6 probably ideas a year that if they were to implement at least one of them, they would be a multimillionaire. So if you're his age, older, or even younger, and there's some people young, let's look at Snapchat. Those guys are in their 20s, right? So these are people that's either your age, younger, or even sometimes the same age as you, and you're looking like, wow, how did they do it? How did they do it? They came up with an innovative way. They figured out a way to solve a problem in a less confined amount of time, right? Time, because time is our most valuable asset. And when we evaluate our time, we must look at our time as, man, I'm not comparing my time with someone else's time, right? I don't know what they're willing to do, but what I know for a fact, undoubtedly, is that time is the great equalizer, because I know, I don't care how much money you have, whether you're a millionaire, billionaire, thousandaire, hundredaire, or a dollaraire, or a penny heir, or no money heir, at the end of the day, we all have 24 hours. Doesn't matter how much money you got. Does not matter what position you hold, what title you have, how many initials you have before or after your name. I assure you, you only have 24 hours like everyone else. Now, the measure in that is, what are these people strategically, strategically doing in that 24 hours that you're not doing if you would like to see similar, greater, or the same amount of success or value in your life? However you want to, word that or make that to be. What is it that they're doing in 24 hours? What strategies are they implementing within that 24 hours that you would like to do to either emulate that, right? To surpass that, right? What is it that they're doing? And I believe that success leaves secrets, but I believe that there's a formula. And the formula that I have for that is time, right? Time strategy, times focus, divided into associates, right? So time, times strategy, times focus, divided into associates, going to give you that success formula. Now, why is it so important and why are we starting with time? Because time is one of the things, because we got people, we talked about it a couple of shows ago, right? When we talked about time and how important time is, right? Time is our most valuable asset. Amazon does not sell any time machines where we can go back into time and change anything that happened in the past. We all can agree on that. You cannot go back in time and change these things. Now, if they do, please hit me up on my email. Reach out to me and let me know, because I'll go half in with you. Or I'll find some people who are willing to invest. There's a lot of things that we would like to change in our past, but we can't, right? We're a creature. We're stuck in the what? The present, right? We can't alter the future. Only thing we can do is make the best of our present in order to hopefully, prayerfully have or manifest the future that we want to have. But it's all determined on how we are in the present right now. So understanding the importance of time. Someone calls you and say, hey, can I get a day with you? Oh, hell no. I don't want to spend a day with you. Not being funny, but this is how you got to ask yourself, why would you want to spend a whole day with someone, right? Unless it's something, hey, a friend trying to catch up on time, but a whole day. Because guess what? That's something. That's why it's so valuable to spend time with those in which we love, people that we love. It's important that we spend time with them, because guess what? That's something that's perishable. It does not come back. You cannot get more time. How much money, titles, where you at in the world, you can't get more time. So when you spend time with someone, that means so much. So when just random people ask you for your time, you have to be very careful with that. Hey, hey man, how much money you need? Because guess what? You can't get more time back. You can make more money, right? You can make more money, but you want to make sure that you're spending your time with the right people, the people that value you. And I think that's a hard thing we do, is that we try to attract people in our space to occupy our time, that we can never figure out the right strategies. So therefore we can never focus, and we always keep surrounding ourselves with the wrong people. Somebody got it, and somebody just missed what I just said, right? So hopefully you got that. So understanding your time is very important. All these ingredients tie into each other. So once you figure out your time, you get time control. One of my favorite quotes, hey, I created a quote, is that most people are so busy losing that they can never find the time. I know it's a long quote, y'all. Never find the time to get information to align them for success, period. They're so busy losing, they cannot get information that's going to help them and help them for success. I'll give you an example, story, real life story. Guy says, man, I really want to change my life. I want to change my life so freaking bad, man. It bothers me in my heart. I'm a disappointment to my family. Promises I made, I'm not keeping them. I got pennies in the bank. Nothing's going right. I need something to change. Okay, well, they have this meeting at 7 o'clock. Oh, man. I get off at 4 o'clock. I don't get home to 6, and I'm tired. I want to drink a beer, and I want to look at TV. Nothing changes, nothing changes. If you say you want to change, just because if you cannot push past a little bit of time, right? Now, I'm not saying you're going to every meeting every night, but you indicated that you want a change. That's what this person said. I want to change. There's a meeting, opportunity meeting, information meeting, a seminar meeting, for you to get around like-minded people that have a desire for changing their life, what do? You say, oh, I'm too tired. I'm too busy losing that I cannot find the time to align myself with information to win. That, my friend, ladies and gentlemen, is what you call an absurdity, right? It's absurd to say that. You're losing. What else do you have to lose at this point? Lose a little bit of sleep so that you can gain back your life. That is more important than anything. That's why time is so important. Then the second part of that would be strategy. Now, the thing about it is you can have all the time in the world, but if you're spinning your wheel with the wrong type of activity during that time, so you got nothing but free time, but when you implement the action and the strategy, nothing happens. Why? Because it's the wrong strategy. Now, a lot of people say, well, I got to figure it out. My philosophy is this, my philosophy is that. Simple. Not being condescending, not being mean to you, you listeners out there, being real with you. Philosophies and realities usually have a tendency of not existing in the same realm. Why? Because if you have a flawed philosophy, it can be somewhere in Pluto somewhere. Out there in the universe. It doesn't exist here on Earth. It's not a reality. What do I mean by that? Some people say, well, I believe X, Y, Z. I believe this and I believe that. And I stand by that. Okay, cool, right? So, example, you're listening right now and says, man, everything he's talking about is bull. It does not make sense, right? Because my philosophy is this. So, adopt a new philosophy. So, if your philosophy is you're on planet Earth, there's certain natural laws, and you say that no matter what Albert Einstein said, no matter what all these scientists said, no matter what Hubble said, the hell with that. Hey, man, gravity does not exist. I could go to the 14th floor of a building on the roof, jump. It's not going to affect me. It affects you. That's your philosophy. Your philosophy is flawed with reality. And that's when we get penalized. See, life is a big game. And there's certain times you got to go in the penalty box. So now you have time to play the game, but because your philosophies are flawed, your strategies are not in line with what to utilize the best amount of your time, guess what you do? You get penalized. So now you're in a penalty box. Now you can't move. You can't focus, right? Well, some of us do, right? This is a very unique thing. Some of us do. So I'm diving a little deeper here. Some of us can be in a penalty box and focus. Anybody have an example of that? When are some examples in life where you've seen people in the proverbial penalty box in life, but somehow come out of that stronger and better? Think about that. When do you see examples of that? Right? I'm going to see if anybody's going to respond to that. When do you see some examples of that? Come on. Talk to me, y'all. When do you see some examples of that? Let me see. See anybody got some answers up here? We got one. When are some examples of that? All right. Jail, prison, right? Why? They have time to slow down. So now someone has took control of their time, right? So they're confined in the area. They only can do so much. They still got the same 24 hours, but the activity in which they can do, the strategy and how they do things has been drastically changed, right? Has been drastically changed. So the only thing that they can do is focus now on how they're going to better equip themselves with having the right amount of time so they can implement the right strategy, focus on that, and surround themselves with the right people. People do it all the time that comes out of prison. Now, if you're familiar with hip-hop, rap industry, you got a rapper by the name of Gucci Mane. Now, Gucci Mane, very simple. He did, I think, a 3-year bump, some crazy charge or whatever. He came out and he's been dominating because he took the time that he had, same 24 hours everyone has, even though he was incarcerated, limited in what he could do. He didn't limit himself and his mind. Time was technically limited, but his strategy in his mind was not, and he had to refocus that he know that when he came back out, he has to at least attempt to financially compensate himself for the 3 years of lost activity. Did you hear that? See, Even though he's attempting to do that, he never can. You can't make up for 3 years of your life, 3 years worth of time that limited your response to the environment in which you dwell or the environment in which you make your money. Right? I don't care what you cannot make that back up. You can come hard to try to catch up, and maybe things may align, but the thing about it, no one ever knows, because you can't go back 3 years and say, look, I could have, you don't know what could have transpired 3 years ago that didn't transpire because your time was limited in your locale of sense. You're limited in where you can go. Therefore, your time, even though it's still 24 hours, you're limited in what you can do. Therefore, your strategy must be what? Different. So now you have to refocus on something else to attempt, when you get out, to focus on the greater thing to try to make up the lost time. But you can't make up more time, you can make more money. Let's move on. So now that we talked about that, the next thing we got to talk about, what's next? So focus. So a lot of people, they don't have no control of their time. They're working on a dead-end job, working all kind of crazy hours. They don't have a strategy, right? They don't have a strategy because they don't have a coach. They don't have an advisory board of sorts that's going to help and guide you. I don't care who you are, what you think you are, you need a coach. I have a coach. Most of the people that you see that you probably look up to out in the world, oh man, that person, they got a coach. Because you're just not, no one's just that good. And it's always, I always say, two heads are better than one. It's always better to have someone that has your best interest at heart that can help you look at different strategies that you can implement with your time, and then focus on those things, and then align yourself with the right team of people that's going to ultimately help you succeed on that. So let's talk about some life business principles, right? So a lot of people get caught up because they want to be an entrepreneur and a business owner. They're like, man, and I talked about earlier, I got to eat oodles and noodles, and I got to live in a shack of a house, and I got to be poor, and I got to suffer, because somehow that wears well with your story. I think everyone has a story, but your story doesn't have to be you ate oodles and noodles. I don't think your story has to be white peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and I had cereal for lunch. I don't think that has to be a story as an entrepreneur. But when we give that the story, if that's the headline, that's why a lot of people are so scared to start their own business, because that's the punchline in that, is that, okay, to be an entrepreneur you got to suffer, that with the hopes that one day you're gonna blow up and be you're gonna be this business guru, you're gonna be this entrepreneur, you can be this business owner, but you got to suffer through it. You got to bear the cross. That's not necessarily true, but everyone has to bear a cross. But I don't think the level of severity that's put out there is fair, a fair assessment of it. I think the level of burden that you have to carry, that you're on a job, is about the same, adequately, even. So to say that starting a business is harder than working a job is all in how you utilize your time. Goes back to what I'm talking about. How you utilize your time. What strategies are you implementing? How you focusing on those strategies with the time that you have, and surrounding yourself with the right people to make it happen, the right team, right? So it goes everything. All this stuff is like cooking. It's like baking a cake. You can put all the ingredients, the extract, the this, the that, the sugar is coming out real good. But if you miss the egg, the cake won't hold. Egg holds a lot of stuff that we cook. The egg is it, right? But you can have everything, but if you lack one ingredient, you have the egg, but you don't put no sugar. What kind of cake is that? That's a nasty cake, right? That's a nasty cake. So, there's all types of flaws in it. So that's why you got to have the full alignment of it. But no one ever says, and there's a lot of people in that space you guys listen to, that's telling you that. And I don't coach on that premise of you gotta, suck an egg through a garden hose to be an entrepreneur, to have a successful business. You gotta live in the hood, and you gotta be catching the bus and the train, and you gotta be in pain and misery. When somebody asks you how you doing, I'm just getting by. I'm waiting for my. You're talking positive. See, the hardest thing, and that's what makes people go out of business. See, if you trick yourself to think that it's okay for you to suffer and go through something, right? And this tests your passion. How much are you really convicted of it? Because if your passion is limited, and then you get to the point you're trying to trick yourself in believing that it's okay for you to eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches 5 days a week. It's okay to eat oodles and noodles every day. It's okay to be hungry while you're going through this journey. And one of those days, something's just going to happen, really, really catastrophic, and it will in your business. I guarantee it will. That's just life. The worst things that happen to you is not what happens to you, but how you handle it. Get it? Hope you got it. It's not what happens to you. The worst crap will happen to you. It's how you handle it. That's the difference between a lot of people that's winning and people that's losing. It's not that anything less happened to them, if not more happened to them, but they were able to overcome it. It's how they handled it that changed. You got people in this world that have lost many things. You have people that have lost loved ones, children, limbs, all types of things that they have lost. But as a result of the loss, they gained something else. I always use the example of Malcolm X. Malcolm X was a very lost individual when he went to prison. But one of the things he's quoted for saying the most is that when he went to prison, he started to read. And when he started to read, somebody gonna miss this. I hope you can listen to this. When he started to read, it was very low lighting inside the prison. So he would be reading in the dark, squinting his eyes, hurting his eyes. So what he said was, in the process of going to jail, I lost my sight, but I gained my vision. You understand what I'm saying? I hope you got that. He lost his eyesight, but he gained his vision. He poured something into him. He learned something about time, strategy, focus, and around the right people that's the winning formula. Winning formula. Write it down. Time, strategy, times focus, divided into associates. Divide all that up into the right people. That is the winning formula for success. Period. Hands down. Right? Get that, accept it, don't move past it. Right? So going back to you don't have to. Stop putting that in your brain. It's not a suffering contest. Or whoever suffers the most. I hear people say it all the time, and I had to catch myself. I'm like, yeah, I'm getting ready to make a breakthrough because I'm catching all hell right now. I'm like Scooby-Doo. Huh? Listen to what we're saying. So the more hell you go through, meaning there's about to be a breakthrough, that sounds like a way of convincing yourself that it's going to be all right. It's going to be all right because I'm going through a lot of hell right now. It's going to turn around. It's going to turn around. You're trying to convince yourself. But what are you doing to make the change around? What are you doing to make things change? See, we cannot go on a probability of things. We must go with the certainty of things. Not the probability. There's a probability that because I'm going through so much hell right now, there's a probability that it might turn around for me. Or I'm going to go with the certainty because I'm going to get my butt out there and do the work that's required to get me up out of this situation. See, that's the difference. Don't use that philosophy of saying, oh, because I'm going through all hell, there's a great probability everything will turn around real quick. Why would it? Who says it has to? See, some of the things that we listen to doesn't even make rational sense. It's an absurdity. You think because you're going through hell, what about more hell comes? And then when that hell comes, guess what? Some more comes. Right? Because and if you look at the natural way of doing things, nature has a tendency of repeating itself unless what? Interrupted. You are the interruption. What are you going to interrupt today? That's the question today. What are you going to interrupt today? What situation or what problem you have in your life that you're going to interrupt? Or are you going to wait for the probability that somehow, someday, some way, it's going to work itself out? It does not work that way. You go into the situation with certainty that you are the change agent that's going to make it happen, right? That's taking charge of your time, implementing the right strategy, creating focus in your life, and then associating with the right people is going to help you accomplish your goals. Like-minded people, right? So let's go into some of the life principles. Before we go into life principles, we're going to take a brief break. I know it's a lot for you guys to digest, and I want to make sure that each and every one of you guys understand what we're talking about. This is serious, and I want people to understand that wherever you may be at in your business, in your life, that it's okay. But there is a way to overcome it. There's a way to overcome it. And a lot of times, oftentimes, I always say there's no Rambos in American business. What do I mean by that? Well, let me explain something to you. When I say that there's no Rambos in American business, what that means is simple. Simply this. Meaning that if you are trying to be successful in any endeavor that you're attempting to do, right, most likely 99.9% of the time, you will never be able to do the endeavor alone. So meaning that if you have a bunch of people that's in your life that are not producing anything of substance to you, but you're producing substance and you're pouring into them, but it's never reciprocated back to you, it may hurt. It's okay for it to hurt. Doing the right thing sometimes hurt. Accepting the truth sometimes hurt. It's okay to say, you know what? I'm going to have to cut myself. Because at the end of the day, you're not willing to do for me what I'm willing to do for you. And that's not a friendship. That's not a support system, right? Because I know for a fact, any vision that you have for yourself, your business, or in your life, it cannot be accomplished by yourself. It cannot. It will not. It takes people. Every great thing that's really happened on this earth, every great movement did not consist of any one given person. You didn't really hardly ever see a hermit, a real successful hermit, person is, you have to be social, but you have to socialize with the right people, right? You want to get into politics, but you're going to the club every Saturday. That's not a good, like my coach said, it's not a good coupling. You got to couple your activity with the result that you would like to have. You want success, so use a reason for usually non-productive income and couple that with some principles or something that's going to increase in value not only to yourself, but the community of people that you serve. Period. Simple. All right, guys, we're going to go to a real quick commercial break. I'll be right back. Remember, you're tuning in to the Start Thinking Forward show with Brandon L. Draper, better known as the Motivational King, and we'll be right back in about 5 minutes.
Red flag, yeah, soul of the man, child of space static, yeah. Are you living the way that you should? Do you like the way that you rhyme? Are you praying as much as you could? Do you walk away being blind? I see the kingdom of God in the hearts of our seeds, and the people who serve Christ, and the people who believe. And then I've seen how Judas be putting in work, no connection with Christ, and be serving a church. I see some choosing sides. Lies get created and protect the falsehoods while y'all masquerade as holders of a key to salvation. Really you deceive while saying things to make you appear free, but on the inside you locked in the flesh. Selfish ways keep you in bondage, paying homage to a dead God who was never given life, promising heaven heavily on mics. I bring light to outweigh your bounds of sullen words and the syntax of terror, stunning your slurs and blurbs. I'll be sure to make note of all your lies, then send it to Jehovah towards the sky. You be the type to say someone is gay, they could come out to pray at the same temple you be at. And I ain't about back in that type of sin, man, nah, not even a little bit. I wanna be an instrument, not a hypocrite. With
with an unbridled passion and with no holds barred. Reveal what's real, unreal. Cut, scratch, bite, and scar. Punch lines in the face to show you what my words were. Catch wreck in a second. Push my second past my first birth. I hurt worse than I show. Swallow blood when I spit rap. Cats claim the old and new school, but still they miss class. End up with whiplash and still laugh, crash, and burn. They're killed in a blast. My generation has to learn. I demonstrate my disgust, but I can't legislate morality. Inject next with mic checks to check your reality. I battle in the tabernacle, fighting for the Adam's apple. Never hold my tongue. Stand ground where the bound is shackled. My mind spins like an axle now to pass. The mouths are writing checks that the skills can't cash. They catch God in glimpses, but they'll feel the vertigo. Yo, you'll be the first to know when I'm formed like Serpico and bring it back to Elohim. Atlantic to Adriatic, speak truth with static to black, white, and Asiatic. Inhale the breath of life, I'm right here until I'm done. My words will take the globe while I revolve around the sun.
Up the pen, you jotting down some words, you thinking of a win, you busting tight verbs, you holding down the mic, you saying golly things, you thinking that you tight, you claiming Christ the King now, things about to change, you got a grip of shows now, lights surround your name, you traveling the globe now, head start to swell, you knew you would sell now, you looking for a world to check.
Check, 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 check.
Reality check.
Yo, 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 reality check. Yo, because it's not about a salary, it's all about humanity. I love my fellow man enough to pull him out of fantasy. So when I'm writing my rhymes, I'm cipher divine, with cipher the blind, enlightening minds for my time. Plead the truth through speakers, the seekers, and non-believers. Speak my peace in any region, from Mecca to Medina, Christ reigns. Therefore I remain and stay sane. I go against the same grain that they follow the game. Fame, they play the part and play games. Workstations to mainframes, rock him to Coltrane, Africa to the A-Train, the same thing. Yo, the same thing.
Warning, the information you're about to be exposed to has been known to cause sudden, newfound aspirations, new vigor for life, and an overabundance of hope for the future. Do you ever find yourself daydreaming about being that person you always seen yourself becoming, but it seems like no matter what you do or how hard you try, you could never measure up? Do you ever feel like you're running out of time and options and hope? Do you ever feel like if you only had the right information, you could change your life, but you always find yourself in the position where you lack the time, resources, and energy? If you answered yes to any of those questions, then you're in the right place at the right time. What if I told you that you're about to unlock one of the greatest secrets known to man? You'll receive the nationally acclaimed Free Mindset Development Crash Course video delivered by Brandon L. Draper, world-renowned leadership strategist and author of the Amazon best-selling book, Becoming Who You Should Be Despite Who You Are, both of which have been featured on ABC News, CBS, Fox 50, and the Boston Globe. There's a limited amount of space available, so be sure to act now to secure your spot. This crash course is only for those who are serious about changing their station in life, and if you're not comfortable inputting your correct information below, then this is not the program for you. I would then advise you to exit this page now. In order to receive the free training crash course and a free digital copy of the book, you'll need to enter your information below, and you'll be routed to another page asking you to check your email to confirm your subscription. You'll then be routed to the page where your crash course is hosted, and you'll be able to download your free copy of the book. Fill out the information below, and I look forward to seeing you on the other side.
Thank you. If you are just now joining in, this is Brandon L. Draper, better known as the Motivational King, and you are tuning into the Start Thinking Forward radio show. And we're talking about time, strategy, focus, and associates. And we're talking about some very important life principles that I hope will ultimately change and transform your lives. Let me tell you something. So when you're passionate about something, let me tell you something. Oh my goodness. When you're really truly passionate about something, I will honestly tell you that it is one of the most, sometimes, oftentimes, at least at the beginning, it is one of the things that is most underpaid. I know so many people that love so many things. I have a friend. Let me tell you something. He is so good. So I'm gonna throw him out. And I've always been just trying to tell him, hey, dude, you just need to just go out there, make that leap of faith, and just start your business with photography. Every single picture you see of me, other than the stuff that you see me obviously in a car or whatever, stuff that. But all my like pictures with me in suits in different places. Damian Young. Matter of fact, let me look at Damian Young's Facebook. So if you guys are looking for someone to do your pictures, when I say professional, should have charged me thousands of dollars to do that photo shoot. When I said that he takes the time, and I got hundreds of pictures, and I'm ashamed to say that because of what I paid for it, but. And that's because, him and I have a personal relationship. I have nothing but love for him and, what he does. But I'm just saying, like, he's just off the chain with what he does. And that's Damian Young. I'm trying to pull up his exact name up here. Damian Young is Damien Young. And that's Young. Young, so I'm trying to pull up his exact name and see. I know it's a picture of him with some Chef Boyardee hat. Yeah. So he has, if you look up Damian Young, right? He has a little Chef Boyardee hat, has a black, red tie, and awesome with pictures. Reach out to him if you want to do some photo work for you. If you have some photos you already took, you need someone to touch it up, make it look good, change it around. He is the man. Damian Young, Young Photography, the name of his business, and I'm telling you, he's off the chain. So things like that, but he just, he not, he's, I would say, dragging his foot a little bit with it, but that's what he's so passionate about. But he needs support. He needs to build a team of like-minded people that see the value in what he does, the perceived value of what he does. So there's everything that we do, passions have a perceived value. Now you have to do the inquiries and find out if that perceived value is high or low. So if you have a very low perceived value of a product or a service, it's gonna be hard for people to want to pay for it, right? So you have to determine if that's what it's in it for. Like at the end of the day, you can be passionate about something, but then also too, I play devil advocate. You still got to live. I can be very passionate about speaking and motivating people, but if I can't pay my internet bill, then I'm not broadcasting, launching, or sending no videos out to nobody. So I have to be able to sustain myself. So you have to be able to sustain yourself, because if you're not able to sustain yourself, and this is a very big life lesson in this. This is how you turn a passion or something that you always wanted to do into a nightmare and something you will never ever do again. Is when you take something you're so passionate about, you do it, make absolutely no money, and you lose everything. So then you start blaming the business, right? You start blaming the business for whatever reason, because like, well, because of the business, I lost this, I lost that. It's not the business. The business is not even a person. It's a thing. It's an inadequate object. It's a, what I'm saying? So you are the one controlling the business, so therefore your actions are a reflection of the company, right? So what is it that you did that is a result of you being where you're at currently at this current station? It has nothing to do with the business. The business worked, but you had the wrong strategy, and you didn't utilize your time, and you just couldn't figure out how you was gonna focus. And guess what? You never hung around the right people. That's why it didn't work. All right? That's why it doesn't work. Not any other reason than those things I just named, right? Don't live a limited life You know, somehow in our living, and I'm telling you this because I'm a child at heart. I really am. And that's because I can be serious, but I don't take life that serious. But I do. That if that makes sense. I don't take life serious, but I really do. What I mean by that, I love having fun. I'm very jokey. You know, and that's because I never lost that part of my childhood. Because what I've discovered is you get older, people paint this perceived thing about life where life is this, defined parameters, and it is better for you to live in the parameters of that life in order to get success. And most people go with that. That's why we have a lot of people getting the 9 to 5. They want security. They want to be secure in what they do. They want to go outside of the box. No one says that life is what you create it to be. That you can mold and cultivate this to be something different for yourself. And the ones that we admire from a distance, the one that we secretly say, man, I wish, because we all, it's like crazy. No one's envious, but the word exists. No one does anything. Nobody jealous of that. No one's envious of that. No one wants to be like other people. Then why do we talk about it? Because we do. Whether may not admit it to other people because that makes us feel shallow in ourselves, but those deep thoughts that we have in our mind and say, man, look at him go. Look at her go. Man, are they posting again on Instagram? Or are they posting again on Facebook? Where are they at this time? Man, I wish I had that life. We all think that. The question then comes in, how do we get that? Understanding that life has preset parameters. Preset parameters. It is up to you, the change agent, to go in there and change your preset options. You have the right to do that. See, no one talks about that. No one says you can create the life. No, you gotta operate with the life that is given to you. Your dad was a plumber. It'd be best for you to be a plumber. Continue the family business. That's the preset. All right? That's what's already given. Hey man, you don't even gotta do much. You already got it made in the shade. But in life, we can change the presets and set the limits higher. So those people that you're admiring from a distance, whether you admit it or not, those are the people that are making some things change, right? So